You want to grow. If you want to stay the same, then none of this is for you. You could click out the video now. But if you want to grow and elevate and evolve, look out for your future self financially more than you worry about yourself and how back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. My name is Kiko Lee, and today's video is going to be about the 20 money lessons that I learned in my 20s that I just want to share, so that maybe you can adjust your lifestyle to, or if you're in your 20s or about to be in your 20s, you can know to start making these changes now before you get in your late 20s and get old like me. Number one is going to be get into the habit of saving from now. I feel like I was making so much money when I was at a young age, and I just didn't have the habit of saving, so I would just spend money like I didn't care. And I'm realizing now that it's not really so much about how much you're saving, it's more about the habit, because as your finances grow and your net worth and income grows, you'll naturally already have the habit of saving, so you'll be able to continue on doing that with having a large amount of money or having more money added to your life, versus just being a spender and being proud of it and not really caring and just thinking that, oh, whatever, you know, another time. No, like, the habit is more important than how much you're actually saving. So save anything. If it's going to be $10, $20, whatever, save something so you have that habit of everything that comes into me financially does not belong to me. Number two is going to be keep your expenses low. So this is something that I learned recently, like within the past like 3 years, because I am a business owner. I was a full-time entrepreneur for the past 3 years, and I say was like I'm not going to go back to doing that, but it's a long story for another video. So keeping your expenses low allows you to work on generating income through things that you really want to do and that you're really passionate about. The minute you decide to match your lifestyle with your finances and your income is where you kind of get screwed up at. So for me, keeping my finances at the bare minimum has effectively allowed me to not only live my life, but also work on growing. And when I say growing, I mean growing mentally, physically, financially, in my business, because I don't have a lot of day-to-day financial responsibilities. For instance, I can say, for one example, is my car. Right now, I am driving a pickup truck that, it's so funny because I was supposed to drive it for only like 2 months until I went and got a new car. I was on the fence about what kind of car I wanted, to the point that it's going on 8 months that I haven't gone to get my new car, and I'm okay. Like, I really thought that I would care more, but this pickup truck has always been around. It was my work truck. But it's like cute and like tricked out a little bit. I wouldn't say tricked out, but it's cute. So it's like, it's really big. It has nice rims on it. It has like a few things that need to be adjusted to it, but for some reason it hasn't really bothered me to drive that car. And I'm somebody that I thought that would never happen, but I think because when I think of how much money I can put into traveling, into reinvesting into my business, and just not caring about what I spend on a day-to-day or how much I make on a day-to-day, it feels nice to know that I have this vehicle that I pay next to nothing for when it comes to insurance as well as the payment, because it is used, that it just gives me so much freedom. I appreciate the truck, and I appreciate the truck for what it has done to me. So keeping your expenses low would be one of the top things I recommend in your 20s. Retirement. So I always had like the little 401ks, like when I worked like stupid little jobs, but because I was a server for majority of my 20s, because I was able to just make so much more money and work less than if I had a corporate day-to-day job, I feel like I have been able to understand the importance of retirement, but I haven't been able to effectively save for retirement. So if you're an entrepreneur like me, one of the biggest things I've done is use Fidelity to just open a regular account for retirement. I don't have that much in there, but I know now financially I have the wherewithal That's the word. I'm trying to expand my vocabulary. I have the wherewithal to know that, you know, I need to increase that amount, maybe invest it into different things. I'm still like getting a better understanding of that. It's something I'm very new to, and understand that these are just basic, simple rules. I'm not a financial guru in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not like an investment banker giving you advice. I'm just somebody that made a lot of money and learned a lot of lessons over the years from making a lot of money. And one of the things I would say is just save for retirement. Look into the different things. Like if you work a corporate job, what I know one of the biggest rules is if you have a corporate job, whatever they're gonna match, that's what you should put into the 401k. I know that if you're an entrepreneur, you have to use, like, kind of do it on your own, which is still okay. But just take advantage in any way, shape, or form of building your retirement in your 20s, because your older self will thank yourself. Yes, later. Budget from now. So I know in your 20s, well, I don't know, because these new generation of children, they're making big bucks, but I know a majority of people, like when I was younger, they didn't make a lot of money in their 20s, and you know, but I think that having the habit of budgeting the small amount of money that you're making over time will allow you to grow mentally the same way. When I speak about saving, it's the same thing when that I'm going to refer to when it comes to budgeting, because I feel like with budgeting, it's a muscle. You have to exercise it to become really good at it. So budgeting your $2,000 a month that you make is going to help you in the long run when you're making $15,000, $20,000 a month. It helps to just have that mindset from before you have the lifestyle and salary that you want versus getting that salary and having to teach yourself a lesson. Stop thinking that there's ways around making a lot of money by not doing anything. I know nowadays it's very easy to get caught up in the BS of the side hustle culture, the entrepreneurship culture, the real estate, all of that. I'm not saying that those things don't make money, but 9 times out of 10, the people that you're watching doing nothing, and they're just talking about this, they don't actually make money from that. They make money off of people like you investing your money into learning about how to make this kind of money without doing anything. So stop thinking that money isn't attached to working. It doesn't necessarily have to be hard work, but there is work that goes behind making money. And you have to understand that, because a lot of people just think that, you know, if I want to do hair, I don't really have to do anything. I could just not promote myself. I could just have a couple pictures and I'm going to blow up. It doesn't work like that. Everything is growth and everything is consistency. So you have to make sure that you're actually putting yourself in a position to do the work to get the results. You're just not going to just wake up one day and be this master at whatever you want to do. The credit card points, they're not that deep. I know that's gonna like piss a lot of people off, but understand that the credit card points, they're never that serious. I feel like starting out in your 20s, you need to understand and learn first how to manage your credit cards and how to effectively use your credit cards before you're worried about getting points and things like that. And I feel like that's what drew me in my 20s, was like, oh, I could get this reward from using this card, or I could get this reward from doing that. It's not that deep. Like, if you're gonna get 1% cash back on a purchase of $10, you don't need to use the card. So just let it go. The whole points thing, I know people like brag a lot about like, oh, like they get to go into this lounge, that lounge. Why are you at the airport that early in the first place? Like, I never understood the lounge thing. Granted, I've gone in them and they are enjoyable, but it's like, why are you at the airport with so much time to sit in a lounge for 3 hours? So you're paying $695 for an annual card fee to sit in a lounge. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, make sure that you understand how credit cards work and how to utilize credit to build your credit before you're worried about the goddamn points. Like, just leave the points alone, okay? Do the back end work stuff first. Continuing on with that, credit cards are like, if I could describe it, it's like a crack, right? Or like coke. So the first time you snort coke, from what people tell me, I've never done this. Like, I'm not a drug user and I'm not an advocate for drug using, but I'm just going based off of, you know, just stuff I watch. So when you do coke, right, for the first time, there's some high that you get that apparently you continuously chase, right? Think about like heroin, all that stuff. You're continuously chasing that first high of when you first use the drug. Credit cards and heroin is the same thing. I've never, you know, I don't know why people don't tell people that sooner, but especially in your 20s, credit cards, heroin, same level of drug. I would say weed is probably less addictive than credit cards, okay? Just leave it alone. It's never that deep to use them or need them. If you don't have the cash, don't bother. I don't care if you have to take your last dime to spend and buy something. It will help you appreciate and really think through the things you're buying when you have to pay for it straight off the bat versus when you could put on a credit card and think about it for 30 days, okay? So heroin, credit cards, same level of drug. Get life insurance. Life insurance is like the easiest thing that you could do to secure your life after you die. I know that sounds weird, but you have people that you care about in your life, right? That when you're dead and gone, they're still going to be here. So if you can make them millionaires by having a life insurance policy, you should do so. And I feel like people don't really understand like how life insurance works, but when you're really young and you get life insurance, it's minuscule to the amount of money that would be left to your mom, your children, etc. I actually have a friend that does sell life insurance and that can like set you up, so I'm gonna link his information in the bio. But you can get life insurance. It doesn't necessarily have to be whole. It can be term if you want to start out with that just to get the habit. But I know whole life insurance you can borrow from later if I'm not crazy, and then term life insurance it's just for a certain period of time before you have to renew it. People will tell you it's a waste of money, but at the end of the day, I feel like if you have children or anybody that you care about that will still be here when you die, life insurance is a really big thing that you should tap into in your 20s. Don't get involved with the trends. So when I say the trends, I'm talking about the hair trends, the nail trends, the style trends, like anything trends, the car, the apartment trends, all of it. Because all you're doing is like going down this vicious cycle of continuously trying to keep up with something that can't really do anything for you in the long run. And I feel like I'm not saying that you should be completely outdated with stuff, but do stuff for you. Do stuff because you like it, not because it's a trend that you're seeing. Because a trend that is going on right now that I think is like absolutely insane, but I don't know, it's been a trend for a long time, is the wigs. I don't understand how you guys are paying that amount of money for wigs and then just using it one time and just throwing it away. And then you're paying all this money to get it installed as well. I don't really understand it. So I feel like nurture yourself and like nurture your real hair, nurture. And then I'm not talking to people who have like alopecia or have had cancer. Like those are reasons where you have no other choice, right? I'm talking about regular people with that just want to be trendy. I understand when it's like your birthday or something like that, but to just constantly be going to put a wig on is crazy to me. Like just for your day-to-day life, I don't know. I think it's insane. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's like it literally makes me stutter because I watch you guys and I click the link in the bio to see like how much these people are charging for this, and y'all are really paying that. Like it's a little concerning. Like for instance, right now I'm having clip-ins. I literally did all this myself. So I made my clip-ins and I dyed my own hair black. I obviously got it cut from my hairstylist, right? But I can do my hair on my own whenever, so I can continuously look the way I want to look on a day-to-day basis without spending $600 to get a wig put on. But that's because I actually care about taking care of my hair and my edges. Just don't, okay? The trends, leave them right where they're at. Number 9, pick a career that not only aligns with your passion, but also your financial responsibility. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna come to a point in your life where you realize that there's a cap to how much you can make. So I feel like the best thing you could do to understand this is sit and think about the life you really want to live, right? For me, the life I really want to live, there's no corporate job that could ever pay me enough unless I turn into Jeff Bezos or like some sort of, I don't know, but it would be too much work for me to do anyway, so I wouldn't want to do it, right? The kind of life that I want to live requires me to make a certain amount of money, right? So there's certain career paths that I know I could never take that would give me the opportunity to make the amount of money that I need to have the kind of lifestyle that I want, if that makes sense, right? So for instance, if you're somebody who lives very simple and the most you want is a camper and to be able to travel everywhere, you probably just need a remote job. And that's it. Like, it probably wouldn't even matter how much you make because you're just worried about camping, right? If you're somebody that you want 10 kids, maybe being a nurse wouldn't be the best idea, right? Because you have to work longer shifts and there's a cap to how much you can make as a nurse. Even though it's a really good cap, it's still a cap to financially afford 10 children, right? So keep in mind when you're picking your career path and you're picking these businesses that you want to invest in and do, make sure that it aligns with the lifestyle that you want and not only just your passion, because your future self will thank you for it later. Passion's great, but you still need money to live and survive. And if you're anything like me, the money that you need to live and survive is gonna need to matter, okay? It does. Number 10, and please listen to me close when I say this. Don't co-sign a goddamn thing for anybody. Not your, let me not say names out. You just decide. When I say anybody, I mean nobody. I feel like people make this mistake a lot when we're younger, right? You put your name on things for family and friends because you're like, that's not even that much money, they'll pay it back. I don't care if it's furniture. Do not co-sign for it, especially not a car, not an apartment. If you can't afford to financially take over the responsibility full time, if that person is put in a position where they can't pay for it or do it, don't do it. So if you can't pay for it on your own, don't do it. And if you're not going to be comfortable with paying for it on your own, like mentally, not only financially, don't do it. So don't co-sign for nobody. Learn from your mistakes and stop making them. Don't realize that you did something dumb and then you keep doing it over and over, right? So for me, something dumb that I did was I've done a lot of dumb stuff. Okay, here's a good one. So I went and got a warehouse, right? I have a balloon decorating business, so basically an event business, right? I went and got a warehouse because I was like, oh, I can afford this. It doesn't matter. I'm already paying so much money for storage, whatever. I went and got the warehouse and then very quickly realized that this was so stupid. I live in South Florida, so the warehouse did not have AC. A lot of the warehouses don't have AC in this area, and if they do have AC, they're so expensive, right? After 6 months, I had to go to the people and tell them, hey, I don't want this warehouse anymore. Can you put it back on the market? I paid maybe $200 for them to put it back on the market and was able to find somebody to take it over for me. I got very, very, very lucky. Life doesn't always work that way, right? Because I did that, right now, again, I'm back in storages, right? My storage pisses me off because they raised the price a lot and we have 2, okay? Am I gonna go get another warehouse? No. I'm gonna figure out how to make the storage work because it worked for so many, maybe 2 years, and then I decided to go get my ass up and go get a warehouse for whatever reason, and then ended up in a situation where I need to get rid of it. So I'm not gonna go get one again. I'm gonna figure out ways to effectively do my job and operate my business with what I have and not go back to what I ran away from initially. So make the mistakes, but learn from them. Number 12, the earlier you worry about your financial future self, the easier it is to please that future self financially. So if you know that you want to buy a house, I'm not saying for you to buy a house in your 20s, but operate like you're getting ready to buy a house from now, because the amount of money that you could save over 10 years 5 years, 3 years is very different than how much money you could save over a couple months, or let's say like 2 weeks, right? So making the adjustments to your life for who you're going to be in the future is essential for pleasing yourself in the future. You want to make your future self proud by the things you're doing right now. So take into account all the things you want in the future, not the things you want right now. So I understand right now you might want a Chanel bag, but I don't know if your future self in like 20 years is going to care that deep about that Chanel bag, right? So make the decisions for your life and for yourself financially that align with your future self, not with who you are today, because you want to grow. If you want to stay the same, then none of this is for you. You could click out the video now. But if you want to grow and elevate and evolve, look out for your future self financially more than you worry about yourself and how you feel right now. Number 13. Prioritize your wants versus your needs with balance. Cut off the unnecessary things that you do on a day-to-day that stop you from doing the things you really want to do. So I'm not saying that if you're in your 20s, don't spend any money, don't go anywhere, don't shop, right? If you know you want to go on a trip for New Year's, right? The best thing you could possibly do would probably be not go to brunch for, I'm just using brunch as an example because we're in Miami. Not go to brunch for like, what, a month? 2 months. If you go every single weekend, that money that you're putting towards brunch, and I don't want to hear it, I know everybody's like, oh my god, I don't spend that much, whatever, I'm just using an example as if you're spending a lot, right? Take something, it doesn't have to be brunch, take something that you do often that costs you good chunks of money and cut it out for a period of time frame until you get the money you need to go on that trip to do what you need to do, right? Balance it out. Don't just cut out everything you hate in your life, and don't cut out everything you like in your life to get like one little minuscule thing. I'm not telling you to go sell your car so you could go on a trip. I'm saying to prioritize your needs and wants and take that and throw balance in there and situate yourself accordingly. That's all. Figure out what you need in life and figure out what you want in life and let it balance out like a little totem thing. Let it balance out effectively with your actions and habits on a day-to-day. Number 14. If you grew up as somebody that never had to worry about money, listen to your parents when they're giving you advice. And when I say that, it's because I know a lot of people grow up and they hear like the McDonald's money thing, that their parents were very heavily involved with letting them know how much money they did or did not have, and it had a negative experience on them. The best thing you could do is listen to people or your parents that have lived a comfortable life throughout their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is, because they're like the blueprint, right? So if you had a childhood where you grew up and you never got evicted, your lights were never cut off, you never wanted for anything, 9 times out of 10, your parents were doing something right, right? Or people in your life were doing something right. Take advice from them and ask them what things they would have done differently. Take advice from those kind of people. Don't hop on the internet and look at these dumb Joe Schmo people that you don't even know how they're actually living on a day-to-day, give you financial advice and tell you that it makes sense to buy a car because you need to market yourself as a brand. Like, no. Listen to the people in your life that you can see wholeheartedly have done the things that you want to do and have lived a life that you wouldn't mind living. Number 15. Expand your financial literacy before you actually make any moves. So I know there's going to be some time and period in life where you're going to have a big pay jump, right? The best thing you could do right now while you feel like you don't have anything, or maybe you do have something, I don't know. I'm speaking in, both aspects. Take that time and take the opportunity to learn how to financially situate your life and become more literate and become more smart, right? Because the smarter you are, is that, you supposed to be more smart? More smart? I don't know. Like I say in every video, I am Esau. So this is a struggle for me to just keep talking like this. So like I was saying, prioritize understanding and learning finances in a way that you can actually live your life in the future. So I know I talk about the future self a lot, but this is why. Because if you are doing all of the learning and the back end things for what you need to do when you receive this salary or this amount of money coming in every month from your business, it's so much easier just to put it in action when the money comes, right? Before you actually have it, versus having to unlearn a lot of bad habits and relearn a lot of good habits. So start learning all the good habits and the good things in your life from now, financially, that you want to, you know, take up and continue on with before you actually get into, you know, that level of money. Because it might be too late. You might lose your damn mind. You might see that first direct deposit and be like, I'm going to the mall. No. If you know from ahead of time, you know how to situate yourself and you know what the financial things to do are. No. You know the right things to do financially. I'm trying to speak so properly and perfect that I'm like sounding insane. Yeah. Number 16. Unpack those issues and feelings you have towards money now. Stop wherever you are, in whatever age and lifetime you are, and unpack the feelings you have towards money and start working on them and working through them. For instance, me, I unfortunately grew up with the idea that money did grow on trees and that money is accessible and it's everywhere and you don't really have to like do much for it. And that bit me in the ass so hard when I got older, because I had to realize that money doesn't work that way. And money, yes, it is available and yes, it is attainable, but it's to be nurtured and taken care of, not to be misused and mishandled like a hoe on the street. So I learned that later on, but that's something that I had to unpack and deal with. And I'm still kind of learning through it, because I do have my moments where I'm like, oh, I'll make it right back. And I feel like that's like a really bad habit of people who are servers, entrepreneurs, people who have any commission-based income. It's bad. The money is not going to come right back. It is, but it's not. Like, that's not a mindset that you should have and function out of on a day-to-day when it comes to your finances. So number 17, the student loan debt, it's never actually going away, as we can see from what is going on with them people over in DC at the building. I don't know. It's not going anywhere. So make sure if you're going to go into debt, make sure it's for something that in the long run or at any point in your life can be a return on your investment, because it ain't going nowhere. You're gonna have to eventually figure out some way to pay it. I'm not telling you to pay it right now, okay? I'm not telling you that. I'm just letting you know it's not going away. So the best thing that you can do is actually prioritize doing something that you can actually reap the benefits of when it comes to this money that you're basically borrowing, right? You're borrowing it because you have to give it back. I don't know how or when, but at some point in life you have to give it back. So make sure it's something you really want to do. If you know you don't want to be a nurse, leave them people's stuff alone. If you know you don't want to be a dental hygienist, leave them people's stuff alone. If you know you want to pursue something in, let's say, finance, and you want to go get a finance degree that can teach you things that you can't learn on the internet, or you need certain certificates or requirements to actually get the position and corporate job that you want, that makes perfect sense. But don't do something because your parents telling you to do it, or you think that it makes a lot of money, because if you're paying for it by taking out debt, you're gonna have to pay for it by taking that same money out your pocket and giving them people back their stuff. So think about that. Number 18, don't increase your lifestyle every single time you get a pay raise. So many people do this, and I watch it because I see the post and then I see all the new stuff come in behind it, and it's the dumbest thing that you could ever do. One of the things that I've realized is that when it comes to raises or financial increases of any sort or kind or whatever, the best thing you could do is continue doing what you've been doing. When you get that new promotion, the first thing you're not going to do is go buy a house. The first thing you're not going to do is go buy a new car. Unless you don't have a car at all, cool. But if you have a car, sit your ass down, okay? Number 18, don't elevate and increase your lifestyle every single time you get a raise or pay increase of some way, shape or form, right? The dumbest thing you could do is immediately upgrade your lifestyle as soon as you get a little new money coming in. I see it all the time, and don't lie and say that you don't do it, because I see the post of, oh my god, I got promoted, oh my god, congrats. I see the LinkedIn thing, and then boom, right behind it, new house, new car, knew everything. I understand going like on a celebratory dinner. That's something that's, you know, lasts one day. It's not a financial commitment. Even taking a trip is not a financial commitment. Or buying yourself something nice as a celebratory thing for what you've just accomplished. That's all cool. But taking on financial responsibilities immediately because you got this little raise is the dumbest thing that you could do. And I feel like I'm gonna say this and y'all are still gonna do it, but just hear me in the back of your head when you're doing it, okay? I feel like if you live by this golden rule, right? And I've learned this just from watching people that people usually don't watch. Or I ask people about their finances. I really don't care. When I see people doing like really smart and good things, I just ask. I'm nosy. I want to know. For instance, I'll take one of my friends. They got, like, I guess they had the job already because they were working at the same company, right? So they were working at the same company already. They got like 2 promotions, 3 promotions, whatever. They literally waited 2 years before him and his wife and the 2 kids left the apartment and actually bought a house. And I feel like people don't realize the importance of that because now you have this new influx of money coming, right? You can pay off stuff. You can do whatever you want. You can save. You can hoard the money, whatever. You can still live the same life that you've been living. I'm not saying like if you get a pay raise and you were living like in the subway to not move out of the subway, like, no, you can go get a place, right? But I feel like what you had was getting you through life and was enough for you when you didn't make that kind of money. So why is it not enough all of a sudden now that you have $2 to rub together, right? Just sit down. Like, just sit down right where you're at and don't move until maybe like a year or 2, and then situate that, because you're gonna have to match your pay to your lifestyle forever. And let's say you get this new promotion, and now because of that promotion you don't like that job, you're ass out because you just went and bought a house, you just went and bought a car, you just went and bought, or had, I don't know, you just went and did something stupid that is a financial responsibility for a couple years, couple months, whatever it was, right? You're stuck because you just went and matched your lifestyle to what you were making for all of 2 minutes, okay? So just sit down for a second, just a little bit. Number 19. This is something that I have to ask myself all the time because I'm a girl and I like to shop and I get very easily influenced with stuff. Not so bad anymore, but at one point it was bad. Like Amazon every day. Now I just do bulk orders of Amazon, but that's a whole nother story, right? I'm working on myself still as well, okay? If you see something you like, right? Like for instance, this remote, okay? Do you want this remote because of what it could do and how it can enhance your life? Or do you want the remote to post it on social media? If you get something and the first thing you do is put it on social media, 9 times out of 10, it was always for social media. It was never for you really wanting it. I'm not saying you can't share new things that you're getting, and I'm not saying to, like, you know, not be proud of the things you can purchase and afford. I'm saying ask yourself sometimes, is this because I really want it, or is it because I want to put it on social media, or if I want to do it for social media, right? For me, for instance, I could say something that's a good example of that. The Forever Roses, right? I have them. I have a lot of them, right? Not a lot, but I have a good amount of them, right? I have a couple, okay? I really, really like them. Like, I truly enjoy them. They are not in a box in a closet, right? They are on my desk displayed, like on my dresser. I just like looking at them. If you're somebody that you get them little flowers from whoever and you immediately take a picture and then you box that thing up and put it in your closet, you probably didn't want it anyways. I think you wanted it for social media more than you wanted it to be in your house, okay? Ask yourself that simple question. Do I really want this, or do I want it because of social media? Or do I want this because social media is telling me I want it? Make that distinction and change your life. Number 20. Be patient with your mentality growth. I don't know if that's really what you're supposed to say, but I'm gonna say it, okay? Be patient with yourself mentally when it comes to this process, because it is not an overnight thing. It's a work in progress. It's always going to be a work in progress. Nobody's financially perfect. We all make dumb decisions. I'm probably going to make some dumb ones after this. I don't know, okay? But the best thing you could do is be patient with yourself and understand that you're going to make mistakes, and give yourself room to make mistakes. And when you make those mistakes, learn from them. Like I said in, you know, one of the other numbers or topics, whatever, not topics, but one of the numbers I said, okay? Be patient with yourself, because at the end of the day, you're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. You have to unlearn a lot of things and relearn a lot of things, and you have to give yourself time to do that and work on that. So those are the 20 things that I would say that I learned in my 20s, and I can't wait to see what I learned financially in my 30s, in my 40s, in my 50s. But I just know that mentally I've done like a lot of adjusting and a lot of like just talking and evolving to people. And I watch people. I've been watching the way certain people live, and it's making me realize how important financial literacy and just having some damn sense when it comes to your money, how important it is, and why certain people live the way they do and why other people live the way they do, and why there's people who work 24/7 and why there's people who they're always on vacation. So there's definitely different ways to live your life financially. You just got to sit down and really understand and think to yourself, what makes sense for where I'm going in the future, not for right now. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I am on this financial journey with everybody else. I don't care how much money you make, we're all on a financial journey. So go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.